Hello friends, welcome back to Tech Byte series Software Testing Concepts for Beginners. In today's session, we are going to learn about the last phase of software testing lifecycle. In that software testing lifecycle, the last phase is test closure. What is test closure? So test closure phase actually begins after completing the test execution. So in this phase, we are going to document all the artifacts which are something nothing but test plan. Test plan is the big it already documented as part of the test planning phase, but this is one of the artifact we have to hand over, and the test cases which is already documented. Test results, yes, in this phase, as part of the test execution, whatever the test case have been executed with the actual results, we are going to document those in the test results, and also the test data we are going to document, and defect summary report. So in the defect summary report, it has what are all the different defects we identified, what is the aging, what is the trend, all those details we are going to document, and also the summary, how many defects have been identified, how many closed, what are the severity 1 defect, critical, what are the high severity defects, what are the medium, those numbers will be documenting along with the priorities. And finally the test summary report, how many test cases have been executed, how many test case pass, how many test case fail, how many test case not executed. All these details will be documented, and also RTM, the requirement traceability matrix, which is already documented. So basically these are all the artifacts we are going to hand over to the customer or the different stakeholders of the project as part of the test closure activity. Let's try to understand some more about testing. What is more about testing? These are all the different types of testings available. When it comes to ad hoc testing, so this is a informal testing. There is no intention or there is no objective when we perform this testing. So this testing usually performed, it is a non-standard testing. There is no standard process for the ad hoc testing, and there is no specific technique to develop or design any test cases. We will be executing without any test cases. This is called ad hoc testing. Sometimes we call this as exploratory testing also. What is exploratory testing? Exploratory testing is something if we don't have any requirements but there is an application. So we have to test with an intention that how the application is working. If we provide different types of data, what could be the outcome and how we can break the system. So keeping all these things in our mind, keeping all these things as an objective, when we perform the testing, we come to know the results. That is called exploratory testing. The next one is accessibility testing. So what is accessibility testing? So accessibility testing is performed to verify or ensure application will be accessed by people with disabilities. Let's take some people will have color blindness, or some people will have blindness, or some people will not be able to perform some actions using the keyboard also. So for all these people who are with having disability, so for those people also the application should be in a position that they will be able to access the application and they will be able to still utilize the functionalities of the application. So this kind of testing is called accessibility testing, to making sure yes, any person with a disabilities also should be able to access. So this is also called as a usability testing. In US this is called as ADA, Americans with Disability Act, right? This is testing. So usually there are many tools available in the market to perform accessibility testing. So some of the tools are like JAWS. There is a tool where it allows the user to, based on the different commands, it will work. So usually we can test basically in the usable testing there will be hashtags actually. So those hashtags could be tested using the Firefox browser also, to make sure every method or every function or every text box or every button on the UI has a tag available, so that using the tags the people with disability should be able to access. And there are other tools also where they recognize the speech of the person who is using the application, and based on the speech the tool will convert that into action and it perform the action. Say for example, there on a banking application user has to enter his username and password, but if he has a difficulty to enter the username and password, he can tell username XYZ. So then the tool recognizes the username and automatically trigger the function to enter the username and then password and followed by the submit button. So this kind of tools, the application should be in a position to take the controls from the tools and help the user to perform the actions. These are all called accessibility. So the testing which is performed to make sure the application is in a condition the application can handle these kind of things is called accessibility testing. So based on the nature of the application, sometimes the accessibility testing can be considered as a functional, or sometimes it can be considered as a non-functional testing. And then database testing. So what is database testing? So database testing is basically nothing but it is called validating the database or validating the table. Let's say there are some application where it involves hugely with the data storage or hugely with the data transformation. So the kind of testing we focus mainly on the database to see the data is persistent or not. So this is called database testing. In order to perform the database testing, the tester should have some SQL knowledge. It all depends based on what kind of database we are using. Either we are using Informatica, or either we are using SQL Server, or we are using Oracle. So based on this thing, kind of database the application is using, so the tester should have knowledge on that one. So then he or she has to perform testing on the tables of the database or different views or queries. So this is called the database testing. And the next one is API testing. So API testing is nothing but application programming interface testing. So what this is performed without GUI, with it GUI. What it means, there is no application available in the front end, but all the data transformation happens behind the scenes through web services, through the APIs. So that kind of testing is called API testing. So this is also called as integration testing. This is a part of integration testing between different systems, how the data transfers. So API testing will be performed using either SOAP or REST clients. There are multiple REST clients or SOAP clients available in the market. There are some free of license tools are available. There are some paid license tools available. There are some open source tools available. Using these tools, the testing could be performed. The API testing will be performed. So with this session, we conclude the software testing concepts or the tutorials for the beginners. In the next sessions, we are going to come with a different topic, and we'll have more details in depth of the testing and different concepts. And thank you for watching the video, friends. If you like, please comment, share, and like it, and post your questions. We'll see you soon in the next session with a brand new concept. Thank you.